Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Brother Sister Show, a family-owned and operated podcast where two siblings attempt to keep in touch by talking about movies. I'm in a new area this time.
Nice.
Anthony's in the same
Plain, boring.
Well, new apartment.
Yeah, but it's been like that for 2 weeks at this point.
I mean, stuff is happening, but
It is.
yeah. Well, how are you doing? What's been going on?
I'm chilling. Okay. I'm not chilling. I'm doing a lot of work. I'm doing a lot of schoolwork.
Chilling and then a tear.
For some reason, I have a lot of free time. But because I'm a senior, I don't want to. I have a job lined up, so I'm like, don't care about this semester as much.
I thought you meant like a different one.
Oh, no.
Like a part-time. Okay, but yeah. No, yes, of course. That's understandable.
So I don't care. I just don't care. The past 2 weeks, I've been watching a lot of movies on my free time when I should have been working on projects that have, been available to me. I could have been working on them. So one of them was due this past Monday or Tuesday for my artificial intelligence class, which is really interesting. I really like it. So it was a cool project, but it just I stayed up really late because I just hadn't started it until, the Saturday before it was due.
Of course.
And I was just, I honestly didn't even submit it until it was, until yesterday on Friday. And it was due on Tuesday, but I don't know. I just been behind on that, and I have another one due tomorrow that I just haven't started.
Well, let me ask you, is that class taught by the character from Ex Machina?
No, but
by
I
Oscar
wish.
Isaacs?
That would be amazing. He's like...
Imagine what kind of class that would be.
Whoever gets the top in the class gets to be invited to his mansion.
In an undisclosed location. Only available by helicopter.
That would be amazing. But no, sadly it's not. So I've just been doing that. So I haven't been watching as much movies. But luckily, you haven't been watching as much either. I feel like, did you get burned out?
As evident by, you have 119 on the board. I have 106. I don't know. This week has just been really busy. There's some weeks where we don't, Sebastian works a lot of afternoons, and so we don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I've just been watching. And I also at work, I love my job, but sometimes I have days where it's very easy to just work on the couch and not really, put effort into it, but not pay attention as much. But this week has been a mixture of being really busy at work. I had to use my brain a lot at work, so I had to work from my office, which weirdly, now that I have an office, all I wanted when I lived in a 1-bedroom, where our office was in our room, all I wanted was an office. And now I barely would use it. Only when we would podcast, honestly, is when I would come in here and clean and fix everything. So yeah, that's been happening at work, so I haven't been able to watch anything during the day. And then in the afternoons, we've been doing stuff. I can talk about but yeah. Unless you're done.
No, yeah, that's pretty much it. So just sleep deprived, and then everything that's going on in the world is just...
Oh,
so that's why there hasn't been a preview for at least this week, because it just felt icky. It
felt weird, yeah.
To
who gives a fuck?
Yeah, who cares? Those of you who know, so...
Yeah, and it's such a weird thing, too, to be I don't know, because I obviously don't want to shy away from stuff like that, but then part of me is the few people that listen, I don't want them to have to think about shit like this. But I guess we kind of made the decision to just leave that up to the people that are smart enough to talk about it, because we're not smart enough to talk about what's happening. That being said, I have had a busy week. It's been a good busy week though. So I went to visit our grandmother and we painted. I bought her this stuff to paint like in November on her birthday. And I said like, "Oh, it's not just for you. Like the whole deal is that I'm going to go and paint with you." And then just how we had like a COVID scare. Like there's just like so many things that have happened, and so I just now was like went over and we painted.
That's
And it
nice.
was really fun. I don't have pictures of what I painted because it was really bad, but I think we're gonna go back and like do another coat of everything. Um, so that was fun. I really liked doing that. And then it's just week has been a blur, but every afternoon we've been doing something. And then now on Thursdays I like to go and see the movies that we're gonna watch because I want to just like get it out of the way so that we can have enough time to record. So I saw it on
Yeah.
Thursday. Yeah. And then yesterday was my first time that I could actually, watch something after work, and I just didn't. I watched like a podcast. I've been watching a lot of podcasts that I've haven't listened to in a while. So I did that.
Well, you kind of have South by
Yeah.
coming up, so you're like, I'll catch
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, and it's coming up very soon, and I don't know why I'm like kind of anxious about it. Part of me
You
is anxious about it. Sorry.
like just because you don't know if it's gonna actually happen, or
I mean, honestly, I went through the grief cycle last year, or not last year, 2 years ago, 2 years ago when it didn't happen. So honestly, if it doesn't, and it's kind of that whole perspective too of like, if the worst thing that's happening to me this, within this next month is South by not happening, then I feel like I'm having a pretty good month still comparatively.
yeah,
So honestly, I don't know. It's like part of me is like nervous because I want it to be such a good experience, and it feels like it's all up to me to make that happen. And I want to get into movies, right? Like I want to be able to watch all the movies I want. But then another part of me is like, whatever happens, you're at fucking South by. So like don't be too precious about it. Just like be in the moment, stop trying to like prepare too much. Just like go and do what you want, like.
yeah.
And part of me too is like, oh, I want to meet people and I want to like make friends, but then that's such a big, I want that to happen, but to put that expectation on myself is going to make me even more anxious. And so
Whatever happens, happens.
yeah, and it'll be like a nice vacation, even though it's shuffling myself to like 5 different theaters in a day doesn't sound like a fun vacation to a lot of people, but it sounds very fun to me. Yeah.
Well, that'll be cool. That's happening pretty
Yeah.
soon.
I know. I'm very nervous. I'm excited. And I think next weekend I'm going to pick up my badge. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Big
And
deal.
I got nail stickers. And so they look like I went to like get my nails done.
Oh, okay. So you're ready. Holding that
Yeah,
mic. You're gonna be recording.
I probably won't hold up until then, but I know where to get them. They're from CVS.
Nice. Well, is that
It's my favorite
all
one.
that's up? All that's new?
Pretty much, yeah.
So what have you been watching?
Except for the setup, but I'm gonna like I'll probably put on our story like specifically where everything like what everything is and what it's from. But yeah. What I watch? What did I leave off of? Tall Girl 2?
Yeah, which
Oh, did I talk about when I watched The Mitchells versus the Machines?
no, but I saw you log
Okay.
this and it was a high star rating from you. So
Yeah, I really liked it. I think it's very funny that I was like, I don't want to watch any of the animated ones, but I think save for one of them, I think I've seen almost all of the animated features that are nominated.
and they're solid.
They're pretty good. I don't know. They're all fine. Luca was and so was Raya the Last Dragon, Encanto, love it, but like all of them were like fine. But Mitchell's versus Machines, I really liked it. I like the animated or the animation style. It feels familiar, but it was so different the way it kind of how Into the Spider-Verse, is that kind of like that one? I'm assuming it's by the same production company, right? Or no?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, maybe not. But it's definitely I put in my I gave it 4 stars. I put in my review, definitely my front runner for the Oscar. It was just a nice little, it was like a good time. Like when I think about, like, I kind of contextualize movies in my brain, especially animated ones, whenever I think about like the watchability of it. And for this one, it just felt not just the watchability, but like how I felt while watching it. And this one just felt very warm and very like nostalgic and very fun. And the other ones kind of feel the same way, but they don't feel as memorable. Like the
Mm-hmm.
feeling I got isn't as memorable as this one. And
Right.
maybe too because she was a film nerd and very
Yeah.
annoying.
Okay. I wasn't gonna talk about this, but I'll just bring it up now because so I was revisiting a bunch of animated movies from like my childhood and your childhood. Like so I watched Shrek 2, Ice Age. I watched all those within the
Mm,
past week, and I think
yeah.
like those have that similar feel. And like when I was
Yeah.
watching it, it's like you could tell that the people making it like loved movies, like especially for Shrek and specifically Shrek 2 because there's a lot of references to, like big movies like,
Yeah.
Puss in Boots bursting out of Shrek's chest.
Oh, yeah.
Like the whole Spider-Man kiss where there's like mud on Shrek's face and he's upside down from a trap and she like wipes away the mud and it's like,
Yeah.
the Spider-Man kiss. So like that goofiness and just like love for film that you can tell is like a part of the creators that made it. It's just like so
Right.
clear, and a lot of animated movies have just like missed that, and I love that movie so much, like the
Yeah.
Mitchells versus the Machines because of that, because you can tell they got it.
Exactly. And I feel like too the a lot of animated movies, I feel like they for some reason all of them want to be super emotional, and I don't get
Mm-hmm.
it. Like Luca or Encanto, like all of them, or the one I always think of is Inside Out. I liked Inside Out, but I didn't get the obsession for it. And I think because it was just so emotional. I mean, which understandable, I guess, because it's about emotions, but like I don't know. It just felt sometimes it feels like they just I don't like when movies feel like they want me to cry. They're like, "Oh, this moment will get people." And I feel like
Uh,
that movie had so many moments of that of like these are going to be in compilations for years. And I'm like
right.
it's kind of annoying, but
Yeah.
I really that's why I like that one cuz like you said it just felt very nostalgic and reminded me of why I did like animated movies.
Mm-hmm.
Then 13 going on 30 just cuz why not? I watched Titan.
Okay. Let's talk about it because I've been waiting.
I Okay, so I gave it 4 stars. And my review is what the fuck was that and it has like 10 like spaces and I said I loved it. Because I don't know. What did you what was your I guess being a little bit more separated from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cuz you saw it a while ago. What do you think about it?
Okay. In like, I have kind of like a Rolodex of movies that have like just fucked with my brain
Mhm.
recently, and I'll just go through them and I'll think about it, just like on the bus or whatever. And I'll keep on revisiting that one. I keep on turning to it, and I'm just like, I still don't even know, honestly. The gore is insane.
Not the worst I've seen, honestly.
No, not the worst, but it's just like that body gore, just like
Mhm.
messes with me every single time. It's a lot about father son relationships and like what it means to
Mhm.
be a father and just like accepting who your child is regardless of who they are. But then again, who knows? Cuz like I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of like thinking I have what it is about figured out and then realizing I don't even know.
I kind of felt the same way. Like it felt very found family kind of thing.
Right.
Cause I did weirdly I thought the relationship between um the main girl and like how the man that she was fooling. At first I thought that relationship was gonna get like really fucked up, but then
Mhm.
it kind of was wholesome. Like I think
Very
somebody put in
wholesome.
the review like it was the most fucked up wholesome movie they've seen. Because I thought it's such a funny. I think the reason I really liked it and why I gave it 4 stars because I truly didn't understand it either. Is I really like the journey it took me on and how I feel about it now, where I'm like, when I look back on it, I don't have that warm feeling because it was a really weird and gross looking movie. But I I really like that relationship and how they took care of each other. So it's like a weird juxtaposition of like these two. It's like the cognitive dissonance of like how weird and fucked up it was versus how like sweet it was, you know?
Right. Because like the journey, like you said, the journey the character takes to get to that point, and like her intentions aren't good. Like she comes from a family who, I don't know, you can't really tell a whole lot, but you can tell that like her parents just like don't care really,
Yeah, they really neglect her.
and it drives her
Yeah.
away. And then she like fucks a car, kills a bunch of people, and then adopts this whole persona.
This man. Oh, I can say adopts a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the path that she takes to get to that point is like really fucked up, but in the end she's like she found what she needed. I feel like she needed someone who would care for her no matter what she was, no matter who she
Yeah.
had relations with or what.
I
So
I
it's a lot of
honestly keep
pondering.
forgetting. I keep forgetting about the murdering thing, like how she's basically a serial killer. I
Yeah.
forget about that, and I don't really understand what that means. Maybe it just like is a really big exaggeration of like a weird past you had. You know, if you were like
Mhm.
a bad person, if you feel like you were a bad person in your past because of their circumstances that you were under. But like, okay, so I think ultimately what I felt about this movie when I first watched it, and maybe it's not correct, but I think like you said, it really has something to do with the father figures in this movie. And I don't even think it's about father son relationships. I think it's just about father figures and how her dad just he was already very like not neglectful. He's very absent even though he was there, especially at the very first scene, and just the crash and how she had to get like a, you know, a plate in her head. Like it just felt very like the way he looked at her was a little bit more menacing and was like, I'm always going to remember when I look you, I'm always going to remember how like what happened. And I feel like she made it a point to be like, I want you to, because that's why she kept her hair short in that one area
Mhm.
with the scar, because she was like, I want you to fucking look at this and know what you did. And then that's why I think she gets pregnant, and at the end the baby has like a fucking, you know, silver spine, which honestly looks very cool. But this baby, this like weird looking baby that looks like its mom, and the fact that it's like, you know, has metal in it, that the new dad, because he maybe even though he like doesn't know who this person is at the end of the day, he sees this baby and he doesn't really give a shit that it has like something weird, you know? He doesn't care that he doesn't see the same resentment or the same disgust that her dad saw in this baby or in her. You know, like when you meet people in your life, like if people in your past, if you did something fucked up to them, or if something happened that made them change their mind about you, you can still start anew if you change, you know, if you change a lot of stuff, if you change stuff for the better, if you become a better person, if you don't murder people anymore, then you have a second chance of like finding people that care about you.
Mm.
You know,
That's a good reading.
that's how I felt about the movie. And honestly, I feel like this is a movie where if you ask the director like what it actually was about, you're like, I can't figure it out. What was it about? And they're like, whatever you think, because it's not for me. I made it
Yeah.
for you.
That's the best kind of movie, honestly, cuz we
Yeah,
could have this discussion for hours and
exactly. Yeah. And
whatever we feel. I mean,
I really liked I think the twist for me, it was a lot of weird twists and turns, but the twist for me is that he probably always knew that that wasn't his son, but was just like, I'm just lonely. I don't
I
care.
need some kind of way to move on. Yeah.
Yeah. I really liked that. And I really like the dancing scenes. I thought that was very funny.
Oh
Like
yeah.
when the cut from like when they were in the car, the fire truck, to like just dancing. I really liked that. I
Solid
like this
movie.
director's style. Yeah, loved it. Okay. And then I watched part 2 of Genius, a Kanye trilogy. I didn't like the second part as much as the first one because it feels like it talks about his accident, and it talks about like kind of when he first, like when his career started to actually start up. And then the third part is obviously probably going to talk about, you know, his mom's death and then how he basically spiraled from there. And I'm excited to see it. Part of me is also like, I don't know if how much I really give a shit because this guy's just going off the rails.
We talked about doing it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Is it? And I was like gonna watch it for that reason, but now I'm just like I'm not really sure. So,
I mean,
from that perspective, do you think it's worth it to watch it?
if you are a fan of his, then I would say yes. Like a fan of his music, because just seeing how he was when he first started, he's kind of always been this person, which is kind of is weirdly not refreshing to see, but like it is interesting to see, especially what's happening now versus like how he grew up and how long it took him to get to where he is now. And just the influence his mom had on him too. I think what I'm trying to say is the support he had and like how he built up his career from the beginning. It makes it a lot easier to see what is happening now and like understand why he is going like a little off the rails.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
And that's on Netflix,
I don't.
right?
Yeah, it's on Netflix, and then part 3 I think comes out next week.
Cool.
All right. Then 2 more. I watched The Kindness of Strangers on Netflix. It was kind of just like a meh movie. I don't really have anything else to say about it. And then I watched a movie that I saw on TikTok called No Exit on Hulu, and I think it's very new. It just came out. Very good. I thought it was a good, like, if you want a movie for like a movie night. I think it's good for that. It was interesting. It was like a thriller that has a lot of good twists and turns. So yeah.
Dang. So, did it make you want to rescind your statement of like, fuck TikTok for giving bad recommendations, or is it not that level yet?
No, because it wasn't somebody being like, it was just the trailer for the movie. It wasn't
Oh,
somebody
okay.
that was saying, watch the, and I didn't like add it. I have a list of stuff of like movies because now you can make collections on TikTok. I don't know if you know this, but if you add
Oh,
something
yeah.
to your favorites, yeah. So, I have a movies one where people are like, this is the scariest movie I've ever seen, and then I watch it and I'm like, that's the worst movie I've ever seen. It'll be like, this is the scariest movie I've ever seen, and then it'll be Studio 666, and I'm like, all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a complaint about TikTok. One TikToker,
Okay.
I don't know who they are, but it's mainly their voice. Like
Okay.
their video is fine. It's like they do fun facts, like facts you did not know about movies.
Is it the one where it's 2 guys talking to each other?
No. It's one dude by himself.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
just clips of the movie. He's like, "Did you know that in
Oh,
Tall
I like
Girl
that
2,
guy.
like though his voice, I don't know, something
I
very
like
off-putting.
him.
Did you
Fuck you.
know
I like him.
that in Studio 666, Dave Grohl wrote this entire movie?" Like that's how
Dave
it sounds to
Grohl
me.
is the lead singer of the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why I swipe so fast. Like I'm not on
I
TikTok
like
anymore.
him.
To each their own, but I'm just like,
You're a hater, dude.
I truly am. I don't know why. It's like the voice itself. I don't know. I just can't listen to it.
That's the secret to TikTok.
Just like have a weird voice.
Yeah, no, yeah, to like have a weird voice and to have like really arbitrary, like, if you like cars, you'll love Titan, like that kind of but that's what some TikTokers do. And maybe I shouldn't talk too much shit because we don't make TikToks like that, but they'll be like, there's this one guy I'm thinking of specifically that talks about horror movies. And there was a movie I watched I think that he recommended, and I was like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? So this one where he was like, I was cooking and watching this movie, and I had to stop cooking so I could finish this movie. And I was like, what? And he has good lighting, and God, I'm describing him too much. But he's like, I don't know, like, I'm like, holy shit, Jesus Christ. Okay, watch the movie. Put the gun down.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, I can't. Every time I think or I see one of those, I try to think about like us doing that. It would be
Yeah,
so insincere.
I think that's what it is like I
Yeah.
can't like the amount of like just like guarded wall that they have about themselves is just like just too
Yeah.
much about me like or too much for me like I would be way like recording that just seems so goofy. That's what it is. It's just goofy.
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. And God, we're talking so much shit, but leave it all in. But another thing I think about, and maybe this will make it funner for you to watch, is what they look like after they stop recording,
Oh,
and like how they talk, and what they go do. You know, that makes me laugh because like how me and you talk right now is how if when we end the podcast and we're still talking about something, it's the same thing.
100%. This is
And
we're genuine.
yeah, exactly. Because sometimes I'll forget. When I'm now that I edit, I'm like, oh, that part that we talked about was funny, but it was before we started recording,
Yeah, yeah,
and so
yeah.
I'm like, oh fuck, like we didn't even record that. So I can't imagine being like, have you guys seen this new movie on Hulu? Can't do it.
Yeah, or it's funny too because like I've made stuff like that I just haven't released or I've deleted since then because I just didn't like it because it just didn't feel like genuine like that. Like the whole Sundance video, like I
Yeah.
recorded it, it felt so weird. I just couldn't do it. So I mean,
Mm.
maybe it's just my own insecurities, but
You need to watch people that have the style that you do. Like, I mean, I feel like you could be like a Curtis Connor. Like he doesn't go over the top, but he's a little bit silly. Or like Drew Gooden kind of just talks to people how he kind of talks to the camera how I imagine he would just talk to people.
yeah,
But I don't know. Or you need to watch people. Um, yeah, I would just say watch YouTubers that you think fit your style and then make it your own.
yeah. So we're gonna do hot ones.
Oh God,
Hot ones. We should do some. I don't know.
do a hot ones.
Yeah, I want to be on Hot Ones. I want to know what shit he would find out about us.
That would be fun to do, to try to think of like Sean Evans questions with us.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I would talk about.
We
I
don't
think I
have
would.
anything like because he talks about like the span of people's careers. So he'd be like,
Yeah.
so at any point in your 116 episode run, did you think you should stop podcasting or? Well, good question, Sean. There was a
Explain that,
point.
Graham. Or maybe he would talk about how he would somehow know how pathetic the College Station like Criterion collection is.
Mm,
So if you could stock your own Criterion collection, what would you put?
that's a good
Oh,
question.
that's a good question. To like, what would you add to the Criterion collection?
Ooh,
Cars.
or
Okay.
but
What have you watched?
what I actually have watched, Step Brothers. That's just a
Classic.
fun goofy time. Shrek 2. So I already kind of talked about those, just like revisiting some like childhood shit. But I think I want to make a video on those, on at least the first two, and how they have perfected the montage.
Mm.
Because truly, they have the best montages that I think I've ever seen. It's
Yeah.
just like
They also
the,
have.
the use of music, just
Yeah,
like the
I was gonna say that.
images, like the soundtracks for both those are amazing and just like absolutely
Mhm.
top tier. And Ice Age a lot worse than I remember. Like as far as like animation, because like if you look at the background, there's just like it's just like so blocky and just like looks like Play-Doh. Like I completely forgot.
It's like if Dune was set in the Ice Age, that would be Ice Age. Also, the funniest tweet I've ever seen, and I have to try to find it, but then somebody was like, did anybody else like want to fucking punch the shit out of the baby from Ice Age?
Truly.
I need to find that tweet because it's one of the best tweets I've ever seen. Because I was like, yeah, I did. I fucking hated that baby.
Such a niche, angry audience. All right.
No.
But on Netflix, I watched I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore.
Solid. Love the movie.
Directed by Macon Blair, who we've talked about Blue Ruin and Green Room. which he's
Mm-hmm.
in, is fantastic. I really like this movie. It inspired me. In it, Melanie Linsky gets robbed. She lives
Mm-hmm.
alone. Inspired me to get a Ring camera for my apartment, so I got one of
I want
those.
to get one. Oh, you did?
I
I want to
did.
get one.
Elijah Wood is fantastic in that, and
Mm-hmm.
I felt very proud. I had the idea of mentioning his rat tail in the Letterbox review, and like I really sat with it for a while because I was like, this needs to be good. So I'm happy with what I came up with.
I liked your review a lot. It was very funny.
Yeah, I don't get a lot of likes from you on Letterbox, but I'm glad that was one of them. I'm glad that was one of them. Which is fine. I mean, you don't have to. I'm not saying that to be like, oh, you should like my reviews. But
no,
I'm just
it
saying.
sounds bitter.
It
It sounds a lot of bitterness behind that statement.
I honestly, whatever happens. It keeps me humble because I know if you don't like it, I probably should have stepped up my game.
Okay, but you need to know though, it's not the lack of that me not actually liking it, it's the lack of me even seeing it. I only really go on Letterboxd when I watch a movie. So it's not that I'm like reading it and I'm like, okay, but not a good one. I'm just like, I haven't seen it.
That's true. I mean, that's fair. That's whatever. But last night, I watched Tall Girl 2.
Okay, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad. Okay.
There was a couple of funny moments.
There was a couple of funny moments, like when Jake from State Farm just was like mean for no reason.
Yeah, forgot about that.
And then she kicks the shit out of some lady during rehearsal.
Okay.
That was really funny. That made me laugh. But I feel bad saying this, but I didn't like the way that they showed like the voice that was in her head.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Like,
I wanted it to be. Oh, sorry.
I feel like they've done that differently in different movies. Like, you know, actually have like a different version of her physically there and like talk to her. I feel like, I don't know, like I feel like that's a hard thing to get done right. And this is something I've been thinking about a lot recently. Is like stuff that I have experienced in my life that I want to portray in movies and like how to do that.
I didn't like it. Or I would have done like in that, I don't know if you've seen that show Never Have I Ever, but they have this famous tennis player that has nothing to do, he has kind of something to do with the story, but he narrates for the teen girl that's like the main character. I just think that's something like that's funny where it's not even her voice, it's just a different voice. Or for a second I thought it was going to be her sister.
Oh.
Her sister's voice, which I thought would have been interesting.
Yeah, that would have been.
Or like her mom's voice, or I don't know.
Yeah, easily forgettable movie. And so that's all I watched.
Do we want to play a different game?
Yeah, let's play a different one.
Movie actor is what the game is called. The object of the game is to be the last player standing. One player draws a card from the deck and reads the movie on the card. The next player must name an actor. So I draw a card and say what the movie is. Then you must name an actor from that movie. They may but do not have to choose the actor from the card. Then I must name another movie that actor has been in. The next player so you have to name another actor from that movie and so on.
Okay, so we just alternate.
The following player must name another movie.
So if you say Mission Impossible, then I'd say Tom Cruise. Then you'd have to say another movie that Tom Cruise has been in.
Oh, like Top Gun.
Top
and
Gun.
Then you would say whatever.
That's where it would end, because I don't know.
Okay, got it. So the movie is Election with Reese Witherspoon. And I'll say Reese Witherspoon.
Okay. Reese Witherspoon is in Walk the Line. Shout out to your background.
Ooh, and then Walk the Line. I'll just say Joaquin Phoenix. I don't know who else is in it.
Joaquin Phoenix is in The Sisters Brothers.
Oh, and so is John C. Reilly.
John C. Reilly is in Licorice Pizza.
Oh, shit. Okay. Licorice Pizza. And so is... Who the fuck is in that movie? Oh, Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Bradley Cooper is in A Star is Born.
So is Dave Chappelle.
What? He's in that movie?
Yeah. You can check if you want, but he is definitely in that movie.
Dave Chappelle.
You don't remember? Have you seen A Star is Born?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
So do you remember when, I think it's the first, when they get married, they go to visit him and he's like in the trailer, he's like, I'd never worried about you, man. But
Okay.
Dave Chappelle is 100% in that movie.
Okay.
What other movie is he in? I'd be very surprised because I don't even fucking know.
I don't know. I think this is where it's going to have to end because I don't know what Dave Chappelle's in. Wow, yeah.
Look it up.
Wow.
He must be in another movie.
Yeah, of course.
Look at his filmography. I want to make sure that...
Yeah, that's his top build. Is
Star is Born?
On Letterboxd. It says A Star is Born. Then You've Got Mail.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which I've seen.
Which,
so.
yeah, I think we did it for the podcast.
Con Air, Robin Hood, Men in Tights. Yeah, so I could have gotten it, but...
Dang.
But I didn't.
Okay, I know what to make you watch. This is truly one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's
love to hear that.
Dumb in every single way possible. And I have no idea why I watched all of it, but I did. It's a movie on Netflix called The Wrong Missy.
Oh.
Yeah. It's really bad. I love Lauren Lapkus. That's why I wanted to watch it, because I really, really like her. This ain't it. It was such a bad movie. It's only 90 minutes, though, so.
Okay. That's fair enough. Let's hit the break. When we get back, Studio 666.
Legendary rock band Foo Fighters move into an Encino mansion steeped in grisly rock and roll history to record their much anticipated 10th album in Studio 666. Directed by B.J. McDonnell, based on a story by Dave Grohl, written by Jeff Bueller and Rebecca Hughes, starring Whitney Cummings, the Foo Fighters themselves, and Will Forte.
Critics gave it a 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb, a 56% on Rotten Tomatoes, and on Letterboxd it has an average of a 3.0 star rating.
Dang. After I watched it on Thursday, it had a 3.1.
Oh, I went down. I wonder if it was us that brought it down.
Maybe. I think I gave it like 2 stars, right?
Yeah, you gave it 2. I think I gave it 2.5 because, I mean, it was fun. So let's just talk about our movie-going experience, because I went alone. Like, by myself. Like, Kayla didn't want to go. She's like, I don't want to see that movie. But I was alone in the theater. There's no one.
Okay, but you need to do every time, because this happened to you more than it's happened to me, and I feel like you should do that like a meme. Or not a meme, but you should make a joke out of it, being like, rented out a theater to do a viewing.
Studio 666.
And I also want to see what the people that work there, what they're like, oh God, did you see there's one stupid kid that's watching that Foo Fighters movie?
Little did they know, Broke College Boy was prepared, because I brought my backpack and I had a Ziploc full of popcorn.
Oh my God.
Honestly, I was like, why haven't I done this before? It makes so much sense.
Well, because there's I don't do them because isn't Star Cinema Grill, they have like, you get a waiter, or they only show up when you press a button?
You only show up when you press a button.
Oh, okay. Because at the one I go to, we have a waiter that, like, no matter what, they check on you, and they're walking around all the time, so it's kind of harder to do that.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
That's so funny to me, because I told Sebastian that, because I called you, because that's when I was like doing the setup, and you answered, and you were at the movies, and I was like, what the fuck, why are you answering? And like, I'm the only person here. And then I told Sebastian, and he was like, "Did Kayla didn't even want to go?" I said, "Probably not." And honestly, or Sebastian said, like, "Man, she had the option not to go." Like, I guess, because spoiler alert, Sebastian, like, this is the first time I've seen him actually like. Usually he'll be like, "Oh, it was fine," but he was like, "That was the worst movie I've ever seen." Like, he had such a
Wow.
visceral reaction.
That's so funny because like imagining Sebastian feel that way about a movie is just
It's very strange, I know. And I've never seen him feel that way about a movie either. But I knew because he kept moving during the movie. So I
uh
knew that he was like he was like really really bored.
what
Which
if what if
fine.
what if he's like he was actually terrified of it and he's just like masking it with hatred. He's like, I hate that it made me feel this way, but I was actually terrified. And you know what?
That'd be really funny, but no.
I will say the best part about this movie is the sound design because I feel like it was.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would hope so.
yeah, they're musicians. They know they've done this for so much or so many. I feel like it's a really interesting like skill to transfer over. But some parts I was like kind of spooked because I mean I had the whole theater
if
to
you're
myself.
by yourself, yeah. I'd probably be scared. So my experience was it was different. I had people. It was the smaller theater. Like when we were booking our tickets, I was like, oh, there's gonna be nobody there because they put us in the tiny theater. But we were significantly the youngest people there.
Yeah.
Not by a lot, but obviously Foo Fighters fans are gonna be older than us. Yeah, and they were kind of annoying. Like there was a guy next to me that kept saying like, "That's awesome." Like he just kept saying, "That's awesome," and then another guy that was laughing way too long during every joke, and yeah, and I think that also annoyed Sebastian. So that's probably why he also didn't have a good experience. But the food was good though. I mean, it was fine. Yeah, I took notes. I had another 2 double-sided page notes.
I took notes as well. I had this whole notebook out because no one was there. So
I kind of like taking notes. I kind of want to take a notebook because I feel like that makes me look like I'm like a critic or something.
I know, right? I was like, by myself with my pen, just like.
Did it make you feel better that you were by yourself?
Yeah, I don't think I would have done it if there was more people. But I was just like, yeah, okay. The movie started.
I don't know what this movie is about, but I love it already. And I don't know why I said that. I think because it was that like a boardroom scene.
Yeah.
Just so ridiculous.
Where they what's the dude's name?
Jeff Garlin.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just needs to get
An album
out of him for the whole reason that he needs the album is like to sell. Like I feel like that's all you need. It's like I just need to make money, not I need to pay off some people that are murderers.
And I couldn't tell. I feel like that was a joke, but I didn't know.
Yeah, I wonder if this was like for a very niche like audience of like people who are in the music industry or who know Foo Fighters on like a kind of intimate level.
Maybe.
Because I felt like I was missing out on a lot of the jokes.
Yeah, I also just think they weren't that funny. So I feel that's why. But I will say Dave Grohl, so I thought the acting would be atrocious, and for the most part it was, but Dave Grohl's not a terrible actor.
Yeah,
and so the rest of the band, not great, but I feel like he was fine. He was not good, but he was fine,
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like I at least I didn't have to suffer through like terrible acting the entire time.
Mm-hmm. It was just like whenever he was off screen, it was kind of terrible.
Oh, it was pretty rough. Or when he was not even talking in the scene. Like the first one I made a note of where the jokes just had like really weird timing and just didn't make sense was the one about the grandma when he was like,
oh yeah,
I didn't like that at all. I really hated
that.
That's
That's what I mean is like, is there some history with that I just don't know about the band where he slept with this dude's grandma? Cause like,
I don't think so. I think they were just trying to make a joke and that just wasn't funny.
Okay.
And nobody laughed. Like in my theater, nobody laughed. I think in yours too, probably nobody laughed.
Yeah.
Not a single person. How scary would it have been if you were like answering all these calls and, doing just bullshitting in this theater, and then when you get out, like somebody in the very front just like gets up and walks out? How scared would you be?
Honestly, if it was Dave Grohl, I would have been like, I'm so sorry, man. If it was anyone else, I'd be like, yeah,
I'm so sorry, but why the fuck would you do this? Oh, and yeah, I made a note about how every joke that was made, the guy laughed for like, not even just laughed during the joke, he laughed for an extended time. And it was very annoying.
He was the target audience for this movie, I think.
Truly. And I'm glad he had a good time, honestly. So my favorite part, and it probably was your favorite part too, was when Lionel Richie just randomly showed up. That made me laugh a lot. When he kept saying like, that's my fucking song, like just that made me laugh like way more than I could have thought it would, But yeah, that's kind of where it ended though. Not my notes, but the laughter.
Yeah. I did get really fucking scared. Like the first jump scare, not with Lionel Richie. Honestly, yeah. Okay. There was like,
you said it was funny.
There was two parts that scared me. One was when Lionel Richie like grabbed his arm and like there was that that jump scare.
There were some good jump scares.
The first one, that was like my notes are kind of like, my hand was kind of shaking. No, it was just dark. But when he was like clapping when they were first giving the tour of the place, and it was kind of like cut back to the screams, like the very first one when it's Jenna Ortega screaming, that one scared the hell out of me.
You called Kaylee, you're like, I'm scared.
She was at work.
I forgot to say that also surprised me so much whenever they started the movie and she was in it. I was like, what the fuck? I had no idea. I didn't know anything about this movie, but that really surprised me.
Yeah. But
that's so funny. I got really fucking scared.
Yeah, I did. I did like the production design overall. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know why they chose a raccoon. Like,
yeah,
to die, like when he goes into the basement and all that. I did like the blood light bulb. That was cool.
That was fucking cool.
Where the blood,
that whole scene was very cool. The way
the whole room turns red. That was.
But it gets dark. I think the biggest thing for me, because I thought that they were just gonna make like the lighting red, but it really did look like what it would look like if, like, you put fucking blood in a light bulb, where it was super dark. And yeah, the practical effects of this movie were pretty good, surprisingly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't make a note about it, but I really liked that scene, and it was actually genuinely creepy.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and then I had a question. What band would you want to make a horror movie?
Okay, I knew you were gonna ask this question. Red Hot Chili Peppers, 100%.
That'd be a good one.
But okay,
that'd be a very good one.
I don't like the path that they chose, where it's like, the horror part is they need to make like a demonic song that will summon
I don't
hell.
mind it.
I would much rather, like, I want Red Hot Chili Peppers to make like a Werewolves Within, where it's like a murder mystery, where like Flea just like goes ape shit, or like you find out it's Flea or whatever. Maybe, yeah, I think just a band that I care more about. So I think it fits well with a rock band. Like, I think Red Hot Chili Peppers would be cool. Yeah. What about you?
Hall & Oates.
Or okay.
I'm mostly kidding, but I think that would be funny to have, like, not where they murder each other, but where they're like murderers. I mean, it's a good cover that everywhere they go, they're like serial killers. Or they're like Candyman, where if you play their song, or like a certain song, too many times, then they show up and murder you. That'd be funny. A rock band is probably a better answer, but I like the idea of like Hall & Oates. Just, and they also have that Man-Eater song. They could be actual eaters. They could eat people.
You can see the inspiration behind it. It's them eating.
My real answer, well, that's actually my real answer. But I don't know if I would want them to make a horror movie, But obviously Young the Giant. Like, I feel like maybe if they're not in the movie, but they would make a really good soundtrack for a horror film. Because I feel like people always say in like the comments of their videos that the lead singer has like a Disney villain voice.
Oh yeah.
Which weirdly I agree with. So I feel like they would make like really good music for one. And it would be like an A24 kind of horror film. Like not, what this one was. Yeah.
That's solid.
Oh, and I will say, so some of the scares I thought were really cool, like the faucet one where you can see the reflection and there was like a little thing behind him. I've never seen that before, so I thought that was interesting. I'm sure it's been done, but I liked that.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, the whole ghost, I didn't realize that they were the band. Which of course.
Which is but also I feel like it wasn't that obvious because they only really showed Jenna Ortega.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they did in like the opening credits, but I didn't really pay attention that much. But I liked that.
Yeah.
And I had another question. Okay, go on.
I would say the deaths are cool.
Okay, perfect segue because my question was, how would you want to be killed off in a horror film if you were in one? And they were like, we're killing you off, but you can choose how you want to die.
If we're choosing from the deaths in this movie, I think the simple death, where he like
that's a good one.
Symbol in between the mouth and like just decapitated. That one's a very solid one because I feel like this was a really fun premiere to go to because like the whole band's there. Yeah. Like that atmosphere must have been like amazing because you see yourself die on screen. Like that must have been really fun.
That's what I was thinking about too. Like seeing the premiere.
Yeah,
would have been fun.
That would be cool if I had to come up with my own death. I mean, I'm not a drummer, but I've played the drums before, so I think including the drum set would be cool somehow. Like maybe like drumsticks get shoved into my eyes. That would be really cool. Or maybe someone like rips out like my femur and my femur gets used as a drumstick. That would be kind of cool.
I really like the death from Texas Chainsaw Massacre where he like breaks the arm and then kills him with his arm. That's a good one. Or of the same vein, or you know what? Or the Hereditary one where my head is cut off because then that means that there's a prop of my head.
Oh,
and
true.
I really like that.
Yeah, like Will Forte's. His head.
Yeah. Because then I'd want to keep that.
Okay.
I think it'd be fun. Oh, okay. And I know that Dave Grohl is kind of the star of this movie because he's like the star of the band, but I truly think that the guy, I need to find his name. I think his name in the movie was Pat, but the guy that was like sleeping on in the kitchen like island.
Oh, that's his name.
He was the fucking star. He was so like after a certain point, I only watched him because he was so fucking funny. Just the way he like he did so well with the Doritos sponsorship they got. Just eating those chips and sleeping on the floor. He was so funny. And he is a scream queen because the screaming that he did when they were running away from Dave Grohl was so fucking good. So good. I loved him. And his facial expressions, everything was so good.
Yeah.
If you would have told me that they only put him in this movie because of the movie and he wasn't in the band, then I would be like not surprised because he is a fucking star.
True. That was a good part.
I think it's a very funny concept that your bandmate comes to you one day and is like, hey, I wrote a movie. I'd really love if you read it. And you were like, okay. And so you read it and it details a very gruesome murder of you. Like he gruesomely murders you and he eats you. And like what's the conversation after that? Like, are you like, okay, what inspired this? What made you want to do that?
Yeah, where the fuck is this coming from, man? Because like this hits way too close, man.
Like imagine reading that scene where he's chopped in half by a chainsaw, which I honestly forgot about.
That was gnarly.
Well, he's having sex and reading that, and you're like, okay, why would you do this? But I didn't realize that he only came up with the story and he didn't actually write it. But either way, like, interesting. I
Yeah.
just thought that was funny to be like, what if, can you imagine if one day I was like, I wrote a movie. I wrote a short. Do you want to read it? And it's just like, all it is about me being possessed and killing you, like very gruesomely. Wouldn't you be like, huh?
All right. Okay. Well, you could change this a little bit, and you're like, okay. And the only thing is that you change is like the way that you kill me. It's like even more gruesome. Yeah, that is a little suspect, but
It's very funny. I'm sure they have like a really good relationship that it wasn't
yeah.
actually weird, but that's such a funny concept. Funny concept for a short. If you want to take that, Anthony, you're welcome to. Also, the Whitney Cummings in it, she was very funny, and she said the word muse one time, and Zach and I looked at each other. We said we we instantly looked at each other and said she was Josh Shafty's muse in like a jam.
Yeah. Yeah. I had flashbacks. Like I just saw it.
And then I said the bald guy that was like haunting them, he looks like that thing from I Am Legend. And I couldn't get that out of my brain.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I was like, why are you here? Shouldn't you be terrorizing Will Smith? Also, the throw up was really gross at the end, like how he just kept doing it. But honestly, okay, two things. One, I think the childish thing that I love in movies is when they have throw up like that, because it makes me laugh every time, like in Pitch Perfect.
There was a lot of
Like,
throw up in this one.
it was a lot, but it makes me laugh and giggle every time. But so it was pretty dramatic, but honestly, that's exactly what throwing up feels like. The way he was doing it, the sounds he was making, and like how it was just shooting out of his mouth, exactly how I think it looks.
100%. Especially when they were like doing the whole like checklist to see if you're possessed, and then it was like your bowel movements just don't work, and he just like threw up to the side. Like that's exactly
But that made me laugh a lot. And there was a line that they said when they were going over the checklist that made me laugh, but I can't remember what it was. But those two guys at the very end were good.
Mm-hmm.
I wish if it was just them throughout the movie, then I would have loved that, because they were a really good like duo. And then my last note is I may be dumb, but I didn't really understand what happened at the end. Like whenever she was like when she made a whole show of like getting his blood, putting in the book, and then they exploded. I was like, what was the point of that?
Yeah, okay, that's my last note, is that there were like 4 different endings. I get like, he's not famous for making movies. Like it's just for shits and gigs, honestly, to make this movie, to have just come up with this story, which more power to him, because that's the goal in life, is to just like, I have a crazy idea of a movie that I can get paid for and make with my friends, my lifelong friends.
Now write it.
Yeah. But there were like so many different endings that were like, I was like, okay, this is a stopping point. This is where I'm gonna leave. But just kept on going.
Oh, whenever he was like, oh, we're gonna get the van. Yeah.
Yeah, there was the van. There was like when Jenna Ortega came back, and then when the label dude came, like there was
with the realtor.
Yeah.
I will say,
then like the whole year cut time gap. Too much.
Yeah, it kind of a little too much. I will say I forgot about the realtor and that lady, that actress. I fucking love her. She is so funny.
What else is she in?
She was in American Horror Story, like one of the later ones. And I only watched it for a little bit, but I only watched it for her because she was so fucking funny. And I think she was killed off, like soon after the premiere, and so I just stopped watching. But I just also watch her on like interviews and stuff, and she's just so funny. So I liked her a lot. And yeah, well, I was just confused about the whole, because I wasn't confused about anything else but the like blood thing. And then Dave Grohl, or one of them, was like, the blood fuels the sacrifice, and I was like, what is the realization I'm supposed to be having here? Am I stupid? Like, I didn't understand it.
That whole tray that Whitney Cummings gave them. Yeah, the little thing said, like what you said, that.
But that means the raccoon. What else?
No, the main guy, the I Am Legend looking guy, because he like started it, I think.
Oh, are they saying that he only gave it the raccoon blood to like keep it happy, but then when you give it the actual blood of a human, then it's like done?
I think so.
Is that what that means? Okay.
I don't know.
I don't think it matters. But yeah, okay. But I mean, overall, not great. Not a great movie. I thought the scares were interesting and like, it seemed like they were trying to do something. Like it wasn't like the way they killed them, the way they were trying to do some scares. Like it felt like they were trying to do something. It wasn't just like a cookie cutter horror film, which I do appreciate that there was some sort of innovation happening. One thing, I don't think it had enough music, weirdly. Like I was very surprised that it was only focused on one like 38-minute song.
I mean, the music was fantastic, though.
Oh, yeah, of course. And Sebastian, we listened to the song, and it actually is a song. Like, it has lyrics on Spotify. It's not 38 minutes, but it's like 10 minutes or something. Or maybe not even then, but it was like, a good length. And he saved it because he liked it. So, I mean, there you go. But yeah, I just thought it would play. I kind of like maybe that they didn't play a lot of their music, but I was surprised that they didn't.
Yeah, the little part where he's like playing the Foo Fighters or where he's playing
Foo Fighters,
where he's playing Everlong.
Like his songs. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah,
but,
I mean,
yeah,
it did feel really long. The movie.
Oh yeah,
like
very very.
It's
long.
108 minutes, which I mean, not super long.
Not bad at all.
But they drew it out. I felt it just.
Yeah, they could have cut out a lot of it. Like I love Will Forte. Didn't need to be in it. Didn't need to be in it at all. I kind of wish that he was the manager, not Jeff Garlin. But
yeah.
I just don't like Jeff Garlin. I think it came out that he's like an asshole. But yeah, I had a good time.
Yeah, sound
fine.
design went crazy. Production design went crazy. I mean, it's a fun movie to watch with a group of people, and if you enjoy the Foo Fighters,
and maybe revisit their music.
Yeah, 100%. I listened to Everlong on the way back. Definitely don't recommend watching it alone. As someone who, speaking from experience, watch it with a group of people.
Yeah, I agree.
There's like a drinking game there somewhere. Like, every time Dave Grohl like jams out and like headbangs, like that's drink.
Yeah,
like
maybe
take a shot or something. But
every time that guy's holding a feather.
Yeah, that was funny. That's all I got. We have some other stuff to talk about. Oh, yeah. We have first to start with the Hot Ones episode with Dave Grohl.
Oh wait. Actually, I have one fun fact I wanted to share.
Oh, go for it.
Well, two. So one, it was filmed in secret during the pandemic. Why is it a secret? We'll never know. And then two, Taylor Hawkins, who's the drummer, admitted on several talk show appearances that he refused to bother learning the script and improvised all of his lines.
Oh.
Which, yeah.
I mean...
It didn't have to tell us to.
Yeah. Even if he didn't say that, I feel like we could have guessed.
Yeah, he was like... Out of the band in general, I feel like he was the weakest link. Which, they were all not great, but I feel like he was not good. I liked... Pat, and then I liked the one that like the hippie one. I thought he was funny in a lot of scenes. Yeah.
What if that secret got out? Like, what would have been if that secret was revealed that they were filming a movie?
It's very funny to say filmed in secret. Like, what is the secret here?
Yeah.
But okay, sorry.
The Hot Ones episode is very good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been watching them religiously now, and I keep on watching the like compilations of like Sean Evans like asking an amazing question or whatnot. But I don't know. This one felt different because like he Dave Grohl like gives him shots throughout.
Yeah,
and he like filters it with his own fingers.
Sebastian was like, is he just putting his finger into the shot?
I mean, if anyone's going to do that, I would trust Dave Grohl.
I mean, yeah, it's probably gross, but like, who cares? Whatever.
But yeah, I liked it.
The shot like sounded good, though, what he made. It was like brown and I forgot what else.
Coke, basically. Just Coke.
Can you imagine going to a bar?
Just like, okay. Yeah, that's kind of foul.
Yeah.
But I liked it because it felt different because, like, you could tell Sean got more loose at the end. And
yeah.
they show, like kind of like an after credit scene where they just show like directly after like they finish, and Sean's just like, bro, I can't tell you much. Like, you're just the fucking guy. Can't tell you how much this means to me.
I don't know if I saw that. Yeah.
A very wholesome moment. Definitely check
Because
it out.
he was very, I love when people like overly compliment Sean. Because I feel like people don't do that with interviewers that are really good. Because it's really hard to be such a good interviewer. But he is like one of the best. And I really like when people give him the praise that he deserves. And
Truly.
I feel like Dave was like constantly just like, dude, holy shit. Like or I think he told him at the end when he was like, I've been wanting to go on this show for years.
Yeah. And he says like a bucket list for him. So, I don't know. Definitely check it out. Because it, like, watching that going into the movie, I just felt like excited to watch it.
And it made me feel like, even if the movie wasn't good, I think that's why I liked it, because it felt fun. It felt like it feels like he's a guy that's like, I just want to make shit with my friends.
Yeah.
And have a good time. And I feel like he did that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm not going to fault him for, even if it's not a great movie, it was a good time.
For sure.
What hot ones have you watched?
I'll watch the ones that I've seen. Like, I know the people on them, the guests. It's like hard for me to not, or to watch ones where I just don't know who the guest is. Mm-hmm. But probably one of my favorite ones is the one right before Dave Grohl, Andrew Zimmern, who's like a TV food guy. Like, he's a chef. Mm-hmm. He has a couple of books and stuff. But he just, like, the whole conversation was about food, obviously, but he talks about how when you go to a new place, you need to go to, like, when you're traveling, you should go to a grocery store because you can find out, like, so much about a culture, like, just what the people there care about, and how, like, just like hunger crisis, how it could end, but just like the weird priorities that America and the world has.
Yeah.
Just how, like, rent's going up like crazy, but the prices for food aren't. He's just, like, scared for that. It's just a really interesting take that I hadn't really considered. So I think that's, like, what I get most from the Hot Ones episodes, is just, like, someone's life that obviously Sean Evans has done, and the team that he works with has done so much research into, like, their whole career and what they do, and have some, like, really insightful conversations. So
yeah, and you learn a lot about, like, their interests, which is cool. Like, one of my favorites is the John Mayer one. I don't know if you've watched that one.
Oh, I don't think I have.
That's a good one. Because John Mayer is just so good. He loves music, you know? Like,
right.
He obviously is a musician, but he's such a good, I don't know, he just, like, you can tell he's obsessed with everything that has to do with music and the art of making music. And I think that's such a fun thing to see. I will say I don't think they have enough directors on. Like, I wish they would have a lot more filmmakers, because
that's what I was going to say.
He could have such an interesting conversation with, like, I don't know, truly anybody. I mean, because he's had Key and Peele on, but just Jordan Peele about his movies. Like, I want to know so much more about him. Or, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer.
I would love, yeah, Hans Zimmer would be amazing. No, like you said, there are a lot of actors who are on it, and it's cool to see that perspective, because and I don't want to be an actor, but I hopefully will be, like, work with them and hopefully direct some actors, so it's interesting to see that perspective. But it would be amazing to have the Safdie Bros on and see who their muse actually was.
They would be such good
because they love film, and
people.
Just, like, watching their, like, in the Criterion Closet, there's, like, all the movies that they just have, like, really profound things to say about them in such a in a sentence. They'll, like, perfectly describe how that movie is. It's just
truly. Another good one that I feel like you wouldn't watch on your own is the Jonas Brothers one. I feel like that one's really funny.
Yeah, there's a lot of the, like, past ones I haven't seen.
I'll look through them again and see if there's any, because I've seen most of them, not all of them, but most of them. And I feel like those are the two that jump out to me. Another one is Shia LaBeouf, but I don't know how I feel about that man now.
Okay. Yeah, I watched that one. That one, I like that one a lot.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good, I guess, Just like how I'm being reminded to listen to more Foo Fighters, I feel like that's a good reminder to watch Hot Ones more.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch any of the remote ones he did. I think I watched one he did with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and that one was interesting. I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt is also somebody that's, because he's directed, produced, like he's done a lot of stuff in the entertainment industry. So he is somebody that I love listening to when he talks about making stuff. So another good one, I guess.
Elijah Wood as well.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
And I remember that one specifically because he has I don't know if he lives in Austin, but he at least has a house in Austin. And they asked him, or Sean asked him, like, what are good places, what are the go-tos in Austin? And I forget the other two. I think there was a ramen place that Sebastian and I wanted to go to, but we haven't. But a pizza place called Via 313, which I don't know if you've been to.
Yeah, I've been to. It's really good.
That's probably my favorite pizza, like anywhere, is Via 313. So yeah,
hard to beat.
I've yet to see him. Truly, it gets close though. You know, they try to get to what Little Caesars can do.
Well, speaking of your some of your faves, King Batch is getting a TV series. It's about his rise to fame on social media.
Is it like a reality show?
No, it's scripted.
Oh, even better. Okay. Who in the world gives a shit about King Batch? Like, why would anybody... I can't imagine him walking into a production company or studio being like, I want a show about me, and people being like, yeah, that's what the world needs to see. Who gives a fuck? What audience is this for?
The only interesting thing that I think will be about that show is like in a modern like perspective how comedians will like use their platforms to, because I don't know if he does stand up.
Don't you dare call him a comedian ever again.
Does he do is he a comedian?
I don't know what the fuck that man does.
He
terrorizes the world is what he does.
I saw it and I was like, yeah, this is Livia.
Has
Livia written all over it? Is this filmed in secret and you can't talk about it yet?
Probably.
Are you a part of it in some way?
Can you imagine if they were like, you get to make something, you get to be a director, you get to do your dream job, but it's for King Batch's fucking show? I honestly would say no. I'm not even kidding. I would say no. Because he's not funny. Nothing he does is funny. And honestly, every movie that has him in it should have a trigger warning. Because if I ever have to watch a movie again where he pops up, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. I wish you were there when I watched that one stupid movie that you made me watch, the Vacation Friends one. And then when he showed up, I almost lost my shit.
I genuinely don't understand like how you could have such a visceral reaction to seeing someone.
Because he's the worst. Because the stuff he made on Vine, I couldn't escape it. I showed up everywhere, and he's not fucking funny. Nothing he made was funny. Yeah, it's all bad. It's so bad.
Honestly, come on the show, please. I would love to talk to you about your TV series. And
I don't know what it is, but I think it's not even just him. I think it's just a reaction to that time where everybody that was basically getting shit for my funny and making into skits and putting it on Vine, like him, that Peaks guy, like all these people that are in that, or Brittany Ferlin, who's married to fucking what's his face, like that one guy, some rock star, I don't know, but
Dave Grohl.
No. Can you imagine? I would have boycotted this movie. Like all those people. It's not just King Batch, but it's all of them. But he just keeps showing up and shit. So he's the one that's getting all the hate from me.
Tommy Lee?
Yeah, she's married to Tommy Lee.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. But like all those people, they're the fucking worst. They're not funny. They should not be famous. They should be ashamed to even use comedian in any part of their title.
You know who should be famous? Is Weird Al.
Okay. He is famous, but okay.
No, like he deserves to be famous. Is Weird Al.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find a segue because I'm tired of talking about King Batch. I just thought it was funny because
You brought it up.
I know. I know you guys have a history, you and King Batch.
We
And,
have a history. Yeah.
But we have a first look at Daniel Radcliffe playing Weird Al in his biopic, and it's fantastic.
Oh.
We have like.
I was gonna say I don't like it.
You don't?
I think he'll act well in it. I think he looks like he's wearing a costume, like a Halloween costume.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so we have like the picture of him with the accordion,
Mm-hmm.
where you can't really see his face. I mean, you can, but it's like, it's not like a clear view. The only clear view we've seen is like him outside of his,
Yeah. On set.
like on set, yeah. Which he doesn't look like Weird Al. Like that does look like a costume.
I will, but you know what? If you look at I looked at comparisons of what Weird Al did look like back in the day, and I mean, he also looked like he was wearing a costume of himself. So like, I don't know if that's a good critique,
Let me see what young Weird Al looks like.
He looked like he was wearing a wig, and who wears Hawaiian shirts all the time like that,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So it's hard to be like, he doesn't look the part, but I'm sure, because he doesn't, I mean, Daniel Radcliffe looks nothing like him, but I'm sure that they chose him because he acts the part. So like, I'm always of the opinion that I'd rather them act well and like play the part well than them look well, like the part, So whatever.
I'm excited to see that because that'll be fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be a fun movie.
Yeah. That's all I had to say about that. And then last
Ended on
thing,
a good note.
well, you don't watch Euphoria, right? And you don't really care, so there's no point in talking about it.
What? I watch Euphoria.
You watch Euphoria?
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, I thought you like hated Euphoria.
No. I have a love-hate relationship with it, but I fucking love it.
Oh,
are you kidding? Last episode changed my life.
Let's talk about Euphoria because
okay. I thought you didn't watch it.
Oh no, I thought you didn't watch it and you like hated it and you were like, I don't really care.
I like it.
Okay, well let's talk about it because well by the time this comes out it will have ended. The season will have ended, but
yeah. Well, we can say what we predict.
Okay, Ashtray. I think he's done.
He's a goner. Yeah.
I think he's gone. I think Fez goes to jail.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
He's not making it to that damn play. Is that?
Oh yeah, 100%. I don't know what else is gonna happen.
I think Cassie's gonna try to beat Lexi's ass, but she's such a little bitch that she's not gonna do it. She's gonna run away.
Psycho, bro. And she's like.
But she's one of those girls that like I feel like she tries to act like she's crazy. And she did look crazy.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
She's not going to do anything. She's not about it.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Well, I don't know because like,
shit.
Did you see the like preview for the season finale?
Yeah, and there's a scene where she's running away from Maddie.
Well, like some shit happens on stage that I don't think is supposed to happen. So
that's what I'm saying. I think she's trying to beat Lexi's ass, but then Maddie's gonna come for her like she should, and she's gonna beat Cassie's ass. And I really hope that happens because Cassie is losing her fucking mind and she needs to get put back in her fucking place. Because what is that shit that she's got going on with Nate is fucking insane. It's weird.
Yeah, because he like helped move her in, and then like at the slightest thing that went wrong, he's like, yeah, get out, leave.
It reminded me of that one scene in After We Collided.
Oh yeah,
when she's like, he asked her, did anything happen? And she's like, there was a moment, and he just got up and left. Truly that.
Yeah, that same toxic relationship.
Yeah. He's such a fucking. He's also a little bitch, and I really love the dance or the scene where in the locker room. I thought that was so fucking funny. Such a good.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, we thought the fairy godmother from Shrek owned this song, but now they co-own it with Ethan.
Yeah.
Because holy shit, that was good.
That was fantastic. And Kayla draws this like character. Hold on. And it looks exactly like Nate. Let me
What?
like without a doubt, it looks like Nate. Hold on, let me draw it on my notebook. It's
Okay.
so funny because like I was like on the floor laughing because like we were watching it and like I had an epiphany where I was like, this is him. This is who he is.
You're drawing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's who Nate is.
In the play, just like clutching. He's
Just
like
like
making fists.
yeah. Well,
He's such a little bitch, though.
This
Oh,
is
I fucking
Kayla's
hate
drawing
him.
because we have this app where you can
That's so
draw
funny.
like that's him 100%. It's so funny. I'll put it side by side because you'd need to see.
That's so funny. I also think they're coming for Rue's ass.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's over. I think, but especially because of the conversation she had with her mom when she was like, "If I have to choose between you and Gia, I'm choosing her." I think there is going to
Oh,
be some sort of like Sophie's Choice thing where she has to choose between them, and then she's going to choose Gia. Because what if they take Gia?
yeah.
But
But I
yeah,
just this whole season's been so weird because
yeah,
I think I'm a firm believer of like fuck Sam Levinson 100%
same. I don't,
for
and I. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
for so many reasons. Like there's no reason to have that much Sydney Sweeney nudity in this
Especially when she
season.
says she doesn't want it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just honestly like, just like nudity at all. Like I honestly I kind of don't even get it at all. Like part of me wants to be like, okay, well,
Yeah.
like, if that's his vision, but I feel like it doesn't. What we've seen, it doesn't really serve any purpose. But
Yeah.
less so with that. But it's just like the beginning of the season felt so very artsy, and it felt like he was doing very high concept shit, and it just like didn't vibe well. Like the whole the episode with Cal, like where we find out his backstory. Like the end of that episode felt like 4 different short films of like all these characters doing different things, and then like to get to where we are at the end of this season where the play felt like this episode felt like despite its like editing, which was really weird, like this felt like good TV. It felt like
Yeah.
this is a story that feels right, and like I can follow along enough to understand what the hell is going on and care about like the characters. Like I cared, like get to the play, Fez. Like what the hell, get there.
Yeah.
She wants you there. And it's just so annoying that and Kayla and I have talked about this, like how long it took to get to that point, and it's like he's just toying with us, but not for a good reason at all.
Yeah, there's a couple things that come to mind about like why I don't really think he's that great of a filmmaker. I also think he's a nepotism baby, so I feel like that's why he
Yeah.
gets Well, first of all, I feel like he does make he can make good episodes, but he cannot make a good show.
Yeah.
Because that's probably why you think I don't like Euphoria, because I feel like I don't, but I do. Like I want to like it, but it's the show itself is like such a mishmash of so many styles that he's trying to follow, or maybe he's trying to create. But I just, it feels like I think he is trying to bank on us trusting him as a storyteller, but I just don't trust him because he has these little like puzzle pieces that he puts throughout the movie, like the third Jacob's kid. He has that camera that Maddie's like the place that she babysits for has set up. The whole like there's all these little pieces, or like Jesse Plemons being in a fucking picture in that drug dealer's home, which honestly could have been him, could have been somebody that looks like him, because he looks like a lot of white men. So I feel like in a filmmaker or a showrunner that I trust and that I know is good, like let's talk about like Vince Gilligan, right? Or Gillian, the guy that did Breaking Bad. That if he puts something into the show, it's purposeful and it's going to come back into something that serves the entire plot. I don't think Sam Levinson really knows how to do that. And if he does, I mean, he has one more episode to kind of prove me wrong, and I really hope he does. I don't want him to fail, even though I'm like not a huge fan. But I just don't think he's going to. I feel like all this little shit that he has, like the little camera thing, I honestly don't think it's going to add up to anything. I feel like it was just like I feel like it was just something that he put into the screenplay for no reason.
Yeah, I think the only thing is like the only nod we'll probably get is that she gave her the dress.
That's
and
exactly. Like, and when I saw that, I was like, is that really what that's adding up to, and not something more interesting?
Is that she just was like watching her and knew that she cared about the dress, so she gave it to her?
Yeah. Which, I mean, I guess, you know, babysitters or like people that own homes that they have like help come into, I feel like, sure, that makes sense, but like, why make a big point of it? And I think the biggest thing that bothers me too is that there's so many theories, and it reminds me of Game of Thrones, where there's so many theories being thrown around of like what's going to happen, and I truly think they're way more interesting than the show could ever be.
Yeah.
Because I really don't think he's that creative, and I hope I'm eating these words by next episode, and I hope it does culminate in something that's really interesting and really takes me aback, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, like there's a lot to cover. I don't think he'll be able to. He'll probably cover like some big things that, like, you know, obviously Fez, Ashtray, the things he set up in last episode, not that have been happening this entire season. So I don't think he can direct. I think for sure he can be a cinematographer. So because like I don't know, the direction that in that aspect is very interesting, and definitely. No, keep on. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say I saw this one tweet that where somebody said Sam Levinson needs to make music videos. That's it.
Yeah.
I think he's good at directing, but not shows. I think especially that one, two scenes that pop out at the finale of last season, where it's basically a music video where Rue just starts singing, and then, the one where she goes into the church. Mm-hmm. Those two, amazing scenes within themselves. He needs, I feel like they would be good music videos, but like, I don't know. I feel like we sound like haters, but like, I like the show a lot. But I don't know if I like it. It's like such a weird, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it's because I'm watching it like we're watching it weekly, but I don't even think that's the issue. I think it truly just doesn't add up to anything.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see come this time, or not even.
And then tomorrow, I'm excited. This is the first time in a while. Like, if anything, he is building an experience for people, which I will never talk shit about. You know, that he's bringing people together every Sunday to talk about this show. And honestly, my favorite times of the week like on Twitter is after Euphoria airs, because the memes, the jokes, they're so goddamn funny.
Yeah.
And Sebastian and I just share them with each other because he watched the show. He he binged it so that we could watch not all of the season, but most of the season together. And so it's nice to be able to like sit down and watch a show happen together. So at least I have that, you know, it'll be fun to watch the finale, even though I'm fucking stressed because Ashtray's going to die.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to kill off Fez.
Probably not.
But yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Very, very interested to see what happens. And then we can talk about the Oscars. Do you want to talk about the Oscars?
Yeah, I mean, at this point,
what the fuck are they doing?
It's just, it doesn't make any sense. So the ones that they're cutting, do you remember?
I know it's a lot of the technical ones. So it's like editing, sound, the shorts,
documentary, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. The editing and I think the sound design and score bother me the most, obviously, because like that's what I care about. Like that's what I'm watching for. I want to see what Hans Zimmer has to say on live TV.
I did it again. Oh no, they showed the speech the acceptance speech Kanye did when he won the Grammy, his first Grammy for Best Rap Album. It's a TikTok audio now, but when he says like everybody wanted to know what I would do if I lost. I guess we'll never know. And I want Hans Zimmer to say that.
Yeah.
But now we can't. What the fuck?
Yeah, that bothers
It's
me
so
the most.
stupid. Or even the shorts. Like, they did the caliber. What you're telling these filmmakers for the short subject is that the caliber of work that they did is just as good, if not better, than the best feature that's nominated. And then to just relegate them to not even being aired and giving them the respect of letting them like thank the Academy and people that are supporting them on a live stage in front of a worldwide audience is so fucking disrespectful. And it really shows that they don't give a shit about the filmmakers. They just give a shit about, and I mean, people that are fans of the Oscars know that. Like, that's why we fucking have a love-hate relationship with it, because we know they only give a shit about the main categories, which really fucking sucks when you're trying to award the just best in film of the year, not best picture that made the most money in film of the year, you know? Like,
Yeah.
so fucking annoying and stupid.
It's so dumb that their like whole theme this year is what, like film lovers unite or whatever. Like,
how?
it's
If you're not
so
gonna
off base.
It's so stupid. And then there's just the everything coming out about it, because aren't they even still doing a 3-hour show? What the fuck is the point of a 3-hour show if you're having 3 hosts and you're not gonna show any of the, like, you're not gonna show half of the people that you're recognizing? It doesn't make any goddamn sense.
We'll
and
see
you're not
how
even how Amy Schumer deals with it.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of jokes she makes about Spider-Man not getting nominated for Best Picture.
I don't know. I did see that somebody was like, it does seem like they're still trying to pander to the audience that, like, the people that did think Spider-Man should have gotten Best Picture nomination, it seems like they're still trying to pander to that audience when they're like, you have a built-in audience. You have people that are going to, even though we talk so much shit about the Oscars, I'm going to fucking watch it because I'm an idiot and I love film. And they don't give a shit about people like me and you that watch it for that reason.
Yeah.
And it's so annoying. They're like trying to make it, and they even added, I don't know if you've seen the controversy about them adding the fan favorite category and how Cinderella's winning.
Yeah, that's honestly that seems about right.
Yeah.
If you're gonna,
and they're gonna dedicate time to that and not to the people that worked probably fucking years to make the shit that they made.
So annoying. Well, we will honor those people. We're gonna have our own special episode where we will air those, so you can listen to that.
You sure can.
That's all I got, honestly.
Same.
Well, right. Thanks for listening, brothersistershow.com for everything. Let us know how you felt about Studio 666. Leave a rating everywhere. I think Spotify does star ratings now, so yeah, that would be cool if you could do that. If not, have a good day.
Let us know your favorite Hot Ones episode.
Yeah, I want to watch them all, so.
There you go. All right.
We'll see you next week for episode 117. Bye-bye.
Bye.